Hello and welcome to Adventures in TV Land. For today's video, we're going to have a very short kind of book review. Now, just a short background about myself. I studied in English literature. I majored in English literature originally in college, went back to school. Several years later, got a teaching certificate and license, and actually got a BS in English education. And so I was an English teacher for a short time in high schools. And so that's a little bit kind of my background. I've always loved books. I've always loved reading, although I haven't done a whole lot of reading the past several years. I will admit my reading has dropped off significantly the past 3 or 4 years. However, a book I purchased I believe it was last fall in September 2024. It was a online book. It was Tales from Randomland, Volume 1 by Justin Scard, or Justin Willits, as his real name is, there on the back. And for those of you who don't know, Justin Scard he's a YouTuber, and he started out making kind of shorter videos about Disneyland is kind of how he got started, pointing out history about the Disneyland park that people didn't know about. He was one of the first to do that with Disneyland. I mean, he started doing it way back, I believe, in around 2010. There wasn't back then, granted that's 14 years ago now, but YouTube, the internet, was a completely different beast, completely different creature than it is now. And there's all kinds of Disney vloggers out there. There's people who make their entire livelihoods about it. But Justin Scard, he was one of the very first. I had come across him through through two places. One, through Adam the Woo, some of the videos I watched years ago with Adam the Woo. But the other place was, there was an article in Root magazine early on, during, I believe, the first year Root magazine was out. Root magazine kind of highlights things along Route 66, not directly there. I mean, there are other things it features, but now it's kind of become the dominant Route 66 magazine in the United States about Route 66. But there was an article about Justin Scard in there, an interview with him, and so that was the other place I came across him. So anyway, Justin Scard put out this book last fall. I believe it was self-published, and I purchased it because I'm on YouTube. I like reading and like books, and it's like, okay, why not? Of course, I like to travel, so I read it. It's taken me this long to make this video, this kind of review video about it, but Tales from Randomland, Volume 1. It is a little haphazard in the sense that there's not necessarily a direct storyline that runs through the entire book. So it's not like a book, it's not told necessarily chronologically, like this happened here and then this happened, at the end, going through at that point. I guess the overall, the kind of theme of the book is Justin wrestling with himself, with his demons, his past mistakes in his life when he was a part of the band, the Scard, and the people that I guess he hurt there, how he had been hurt in that situation, and as well as this, trying to make a life after that and coming to grips with all of that. So that's the general theme. It's what it goes into. It explains the reason he started making these videos, got into them. Yes, one was because his love for Disney and to point things out that people didn't know about. But it started to become a way for him to overcome his own, I guess, feelings of inadequacy and what had transpired years before, and how things kind of dissolved rather suddenly, and just dealing with all of that, and the people he hurt and the people he'd been hurt by, and making YouTube videos became a way for him to cope with that and to overcome that, to deal with some of that. And I don't, it doesn't make quite clear at the end. I mean, if he actually has come to complete grips with that, it sort of does. There's a part at the end, towards the end, where it discussed sort of like a reunion that got together there. But I mean, it's left open. I mean, it's not made definitely clear whether that happened or not. In terms of how the book is actually written, there are, like I said before, it is a little haphazard. The writing, it's just straightforward writing. I mean, there's nothing. It's not the great American novel, or it's not even a great travelogue in that sense. But I mean, and it's pretty straightforward. If you like Justin Scard, you like his videos, if you have an interest in YouTube, you will enjoy this book. In terms of like a travelogue and his travel adventures, there's just a few key points that it touches upon. Going to Area 51, the videos he made there, years before there were a lot of Area 51 YouTube videos out there. So even before, Raid Area 51 2019, this takes place about 5-6 years before that happened. And then, his first time going to Disneyland Paris, and there are one or two other things that are tied into there. Personally, in terms of like a travel book, a travelogue, it's kind of lacking. If that's what you're looking for, to read this about someone's travel adventures, it's not the greatest in that sense. So, but if you enjoy Justin Scard, like I said, if you enjoy Justin Scard, you enjoy making YouTube videos, if you know who he is, you will enjoy this book. If you don't know who he is, you may or may not enjoy this book if you just heard of him, something like that. Now, if you're looking for from a travelogue perspective, you're probably not going to enjoy it very much, because the travel adventures that are discussed in the book really they're not discussed. I mean, they happen. They were the things that happened to him, but they don't make necessarily a great story. So there's that. I will not rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. I will give it, as a teacher, a grading scale. A+ being the best possible, of course, F being the worst. So A, B, C, D, F. A, B, C, D, F, not E. And then there's the plus and minuses that go along with each of those, except for F. If you get an F, you're failing. There's no F+, there's no F-, it's just failing. I'd give this, because it is a first effort from who it is from, I'll give it a B-. It's kind of on the B-, C+ level. From someone who is not a writer, which he definitely discusses about that. I believe, though, I've heard that even though he wrote out most of the notes and things like that, he actually had a ghostwriter that wrote actually most of the book. It was more dictated, so there's all that as well. But anyway, regardless, that happens all the time in the publishing industry. For a first-time writer, from someone who is not really a writer, and it's a good effort. And he's gotten a book out. He's published a book. I have not done that yet. I have all kinds of book ideas, things I want to write, things I've started. I need to discipline myself to be able to do that and just force myself to do it. But I get distracted. I honestly, and it's incredibly hard to write. That's the reason I actually started travel writing, was because I was having such a hard time keeping myself focused down to writing longer stories. That was one reason. It's like, well, why not do some travel writing? I could write just a shorter kind of story, and I wouldn't have to write a whole book about it. And maybe eventually I could turn those articles and things into a book later on down the road somewhere. Writing, people think it is easy. It is not easy. It is incredibly difficult, and so kudos for him for doing that. If you enjoy Justin Scard, if you enjoy vlogging, if you enjoy YouTube in general, because it does have some interesting stories. The earlier days of YouTube, things which, it's different now, much different now than it was when Justin Scard was starting out. That's kind of entertaining and interesting to read about, so that's it. So, Tales from Randomland, Tales from Randomland, Volume 1 by Justin Scard / Justin Willits. And that is my review. First of all, have you heard of Justin Scard? Do you know who he is? Have you watched any of the Justin Scard videos? Let me know in the comments below. In addition, if you have you heard of this book? Have you read this book? If so, what did you think? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear, in all honesty. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, all of it. Did you enjoy this video? Do you enjoy book reviews? Would you like to see more kind of book reviews? Me talking about books. That is something I do enjoy very much as well. As I said at the beginning, I am an English teacher. I was an English teacher. I am trained very well in the English, so I love reading. Would you like to see more videos like that, or listen even more snippets? Let me know down below in the comments too. Well, this has been a rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. Thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.